AJ, you see, they're making another season of Black Mirror coming out April 10th.
No.
This isn't a joke. I was just literally just continuing the conversation we were having before we went live. I was like, I didn't get a chance to talk to AJ about Black Mirror. You're a fan of that show, right? Do you watch it?
No, I don't. The latter. I just don't really watch it. I watched like one episode, I think, that people told me to watch here. The Christmas episode. Is that the right show?
The Christmas episode.
I think it was a Christmas episode.
Okay.
And it was like somebody like possessing somebody with like a robot or something.
Sweet. I gotta go back and watch the Christmas episode because I don't remember that. Oh, we were in this little cabin, like a snowy cabin.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All
I think that's the only episode I saw.
Yeah,
because somebody said if you saw one episode to see that one.
I
was like, God, yeah, it's all right.
No, there's like a Resident Evil 7 episode, Sirens on My End. It's not actual RE7, but like everybody was like, Brian, you're going to think of RE7 when you watch this one. And so I did, and I was like, this is incredible. It's like a kind of a VR episode that you need to watch.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple of VR ones. But
I want to see the Resident Evil 7 episode.
Yeah. Like you'll understand. You'll be like, this has nothing to do with Resident Evil 7, but you'll understand what I'm talking about and what everyone else was talking about. It's a good show. Stinger says that was a good episode. We talked about 3 episodes now. We have no idea what you're
a good show, Brian.
All right. Well, to prove you wrong, you want to get this. You want to get this show on the road? You want to get started?
Let's do it.
Oh no. Man, of course you're a blue box.
We are all but blue boxes.
Just hang out. There we go. It's free VR real estate in the chat. Says Striking Vipers is obviously the episode to watch. No, it's not that one, but that's a good episode. Hard to complain. This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single MonJay, Wednesday, and 2 hours Friday. That's all a lie. Right here on YouTube, we do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure, but we care oh so very much about your oral pleasure. We want to.
And you're rusty.
I was gonna say we want to massage the back of your throat with our words, but I mean, we'll just.
Oh my God!
It's oral pleasure. I just, you're right. I am rusty because more Sirens on my end because non-rusty Brian.
The sirens aren't rusty. The sirens didn't skip a beat.
The sirens have been here the whole time. I promise you. Yeah, no, like non-rusty Brian wouldn't have even considered not saying that. And now I'm like, oh, is people gonna? Was up of whatever. My name's Brian Paul from this channel right here without Parole. This gentleman over here to my left, to your right. It's AJ from the Underground. PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? I missed you. Now I know that Mondays usually suck. Yes, it's true. But man, do we have an extra non-sucky Monday just for you, gift wrapped, to make your Monday suck just a little bit less, Brian. And cats and everyone else listening.
Yes, but is it going to massage the back of their throats?
Oh, God. I hope not.
I hope so. Everything's broken, you guys. I don't even know. Like, I don't know if anybody watched PSVR this week. It was something was broken with my microphone. It sounded all garbly and staticky and shit. So I don't know if I managed to fix that before today. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Anything's possible. We got Waleed is now a GameCast, specifically White Tiger, in the chat with the Canadian $2 tip. Says we were all addicted to VR shows. We just didn't know.
Like, yeah, we took a little hiatus last week, didn't we?
Is this a VR show? Is Waleed saying they out there were addicted to us in here? Is that what he's saying, or am I misinterpreting that? Yeah,
I think so.
I'm used to giving Miles the silent treatment when he tells shitty jokes. I'm not used to doing it to you. Joey Betts 33 with the level 1 membership says Hitman and Wanderer. Heart.
Woohoo! Well,
Yep.
Hitman this week, anyways, which is
Eh,
not bad.
Wanderer next week. Wanderer
Because
next week.
breaking news, Wanderer's been delayed a week.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that actually, I think that is a little sigh of relief for a lot of people because these are two really big games,
You're
and
really big
like
game.
it's hard to play two games of this caliber at the same time. It's just really difficult for the average human being, which most of us are.
Well, and the other problem is there was like zero lead time whatsoever. For PSVR2, there was no lead time at all on Wanderer. We literally just got keys late last night, and we're being told that it's not even the final build. So some of the stuff we could talk about today won't even be accurate for the final build.
Yeah, it's not even a review build.
Right. So like it's all very confusing. I'm like, so wait, we're not supposed to play through the entire game with the keys that we got? Like we literally played through the first. I mean, we can.
What's stopping us? We can.
I mean, my desire to want to play through it with all the correct patches in place is what's stopping me. Yeah. Anyway, so what I've got up here on the screen is the message from the Wanderer team. They wrote, just a little more time. We know that you've all been waiting patiently for the release of Wanderer: The Fragments of Fate. Unfortunately, we're delaying the launch one last time. We hear you. We know it's frustrating. After carefully evaluating a few key factors and discussing with our team and partners, we're not partners. We're not partners, are we, AJ? Because we were in the discussion, but I don't think we're partners. We decided to push the launch out just one extra week to April 3rd, 10 a.m. That's it, just one more week. So if you can bear with us just a little bit longer, you'll be exploring the worlds of Wanderer: The Fragments of Fate. As a side note, please remember that our team is made up of humans, just like you. Are they reminding us, AJ?
Speak for yourself.
That they have not yet
Mighty
replaced their
eyes.
entire staff with AI? Is that what they're telling us? We've been working hard to deliver a truly special game. Your patience and kindness during these final days means the world to us, and we're grateful for your continued support, understanding as we put the finishing touches on what we hope will be an unforgettable VR experience. AJ.
Yes, Brian.
Why do you think they delayed it a week? You think it's because of global warming?
Could be more carbon friendly.
Okay.
To delay it a week.
The Wanderer footprint is just a little too large right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. It's it's not Hitman, but it's something else.
It's not Hitman.
It's not Hitman. It's basically anything but
Hitman. You know what I think the reason for the delay is? It's Max Mustard. That's the reason. So, yeah, clearly Max Mustard is the reason. Okay. It's obviously Hitman, right? I mean, I think it's fair to say that that Hitman is on everybody's mind. It's a little interesting. If Hitman's involved in this delay, then Hitman is not coming out on Quest, and I don't believe it's coming out on PC, right? Hitman this week on the 27th, it's the PSVR2 version. End of story, right?
Yep.
And so are they delaying Wanderer across 3 platforms because of Hitman coming out on just one platform? That's interesting.
I don't know. But, with everything that happened last time and, Zenith, and, I don't know. If they didn't do super well on PSVR 1, I don't think that's necessarily Zenith's fault, although there was a lot of excitement around that because it was like the first real MMO RPG on VR that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of us that jumped in, but that was also like not the best time for PSVR. There wasn't it was really a really small player base. And right now, there's a pretty healthy player base. There's people picking up a PSVR 2 every single day right now, and there's more and more people accumulating. So yeah, you do have to be a little bit more careful. You should be a little bit more, careful about your launch and making sure it's the best launch as possible. Because as we all know, Launch is the most important time for your game. 100%. If you screw up your launch, like it is hard to recover. This user base, VR as a whole, is way too small to be messing stuff up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is 100% like we know the success of the game based on the first 2 weeks of sales, because it all kind of goes the same way. It starts here, and then a week later it's down here, and a week later it's down here, and you see like little minor spikes left all around the place when it comes to different sales. But if you start off and your launch week is garbage, you can only expect to get worse from that point on. And so if you go up against something like my ice maker is possessed. As long as it's possessed to keep making ice, I'm fine. Yeah. So I think launch week's extremely important, and getting out of the way of Hitman I think is a smart move. But also you and I both played, and I think we're gonna have little critiques for our first impression, and things that listen. I think we all saw what happened with Behemoth. We all saw, we were like, man, why didn't they just delay it 1 week? The number of patches they put out, like hundreds of fixes within a matter of a couple patches in the first week. Why didn't they just delay it for a week and then not let us see the madness, the chaos, the bad stuff, right? Don't even give it to content creators until it's in a good place. And I honestly think that a week of a little bit of polish will do Wander a world of good. I've been playing the trailer for Zenith this whole time. It's only tangentially related to what we're talking about.
Lots of love in the chat for Zenith, by the way, which was fantastic when it launched on PSVR 1. It's a shame that it kind of just, never really went beyond the launch.
For sure.
I mean, it did a little bit, but nobody really picked it back up and went back to it. I even tried, and I was like, this is pretty good. But yeah, something about it just lost people. There's all these critical things that you need to keep players engaged with it, is what it kind of let go of. The player engagement, I would say.
Roy Martini with the level 1 membership says, good evening, cats. Welcome back. Good evening, Roy Martini. Now let's ride the game Feline with the $5 tip says, y'all were gone so long I started playing Vampire Survivors. Thanks for the recommendation, Brian. Wow. You're welcome, and I apologize because the next 200 hours of your life, that's all you're going to be thinking about. But I've played worse games. Dreamcastic Channel with the $5 tip says, if you were to bet your life savings worth of pizza on it, okay, so 2 pizzas, wonderful, what would you say would be Sony's next first-party PSVR2 title? Well, since there's nothing to lose here, AJ, I feel like we can get a little wild with these predictions. Sony's next first-party PSVR 2 title, Twisted Metal.
I have 2 that I would say.
Do it.
Either Astrobot or Wipeout.
Astrobot's a good shout. I think that's way smarter. That's really tough.
You think surprised. Don't underestimate Sony, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, Astrobot's a good show. Even if it was like Rescue Mission, just ported over. Like quick and dirty port to PSVR 2, or the flat screen game, obviously. Either one would be great. Man, I said Twisted Metal because I just don't think, even though they shut down London Studio or whoever they was supposed to be making that. Was it Firesprite that was supposed to be making that?
Yeah, they canceled that game. It was the
live service
Destruction.
Version?
What was it? Destruction All Stars? Is that what it was called? And then it was that team, and then that team shut down, and then the head of that started working with Firesprite on it, and then that got canceled.
Yeah, it's tough. I just don't feel like, I feel like Twisted Metal will never quite die. I don't think Sony's just going to let it go, right? Especially with the successful TV series. I think it's time for them to re-examine that and say, hey, maybe there's something to be salvaged here. So I think that was pretty reasonable. But yeah, Astrobot I think could certainly come much sooner. Do you think we're going to
with all the success that the game had,
yeah,
be a good one.
I mean, do you think we're going to see more first party Sony AAA games over the course of the span of PSVR 2? Is it time to pack it in and just say whatever, man? Let's not expect anything.
I think if we did, I feel like it'd be toward the end of the generation, which we're kind of getting into those years. So
Well,
I don't think it'd be anytime soon, obviously, but
yeah.
if they did, I think they would do something that would have them with some momentum going into PS6 generation, because everything got reset midway through this gen.
Yeah, I think it's kind of tough to sort of gauge where we are generationally, at least with PSVR2, because we're 2 years into the headset's lifespan, but we're not. But we're 4 years into the console's lifespan, more than 4 years, right?
5 years.
And so, yeah, 5 years. Jeez. So, and I think PSVR2 is just going to be. I honestly think you're just going to plug it into your PlayStation 6. I honestly think that's how it's going to go, and maybe they'll have like slight revisions here and there, but they won't force you to buy a new headset. So I think we're really just getting started with PSVR2. But
Yeah.
you know, could there
PSVR2
be?
has kind of gone rogue a little bit.
Listen, people who made the Vita comparisons were like, I think they were more right than even they realized. They were just trying to be, condescending and be like, "Look, PlayStation never supports their anything that they do." Blah blah blah. And it's the next Vita. And boy, I picked up a Vita recently. I mean, I've always had a Vita, like since launch day, but I picked up a special Vita recently, one that has extra powers. And god damn, the Vita was good. If PSVR 2 leaves the same legacy behind that the Vita does, beautiful. The world out there, the people who are like, loving Dave Matthews Band and the TV show Friends, right? People who just like generic mainstream garbage, they can say, oh, the Vita sucked and PSVR 2 sucked. But people like us, man, who know what's good.
You mean actual gamers that actually play games?
I don't know.
Who'd have thunk it?
I'm really fucking high right now, AJ.
Oh, yeah, man.
Talking about.
I have no idea, but
Cool. We got Miles Dyer with the level 2 membership. Says, what happens when Agent 47 goes to sleep? He goes undercover.
There he is.
Much.
What up, Miles?
Okay, Friday show's canceled. We got Noctis with $1 donation. Thank you very much. We got Ben L of the GameCat Army with the level 3 membership. Says, even if the Wanderer delay is caused by Hitman, why wouldn't y'all get full review codes? Because it's not ready. Game development is like always up to the absolute last second, right? We don't have the complete review version, complete review build. I guarantee you, between now and April 3rd, what's the date this got delayed to? It's full.
Yeah, April 3rd.
Yeah, I guarantee it'll get multiple patches between now and then, and so you have to be very
because
very
a lot of the times updates take like months to release. They got to go through certification, they got to go through testing, all this stuff. There's a whole process behind it. That's one of the things about Sony being a giant corporate company is like, yeah, like you got to go through all the red tape. And so like even though you may have the stuff ready, like it still has to go through the process and before it can become available. So they had the most available version that they could provide us, and they provided us with that.
Yeah. I still hate it. I do. I still hate it. Like, listen, we're not getting Hitman review keys. I mean, if we do, it's like the same day it comes out because it's just going to be a patch. It's going to be an update. And which makes no sense. This IO Interactive is the studio that has created 150,000 SKUs of Hitman World of Assassination on the PlayStation Store. You're telling me they couldn't create one more SKU that was the World of Assassination combined with the PSVR 2 upgrade already built in, one brand new SKU for PS5 specifically, and then say, here, for people who've never bought this game before, this is the one you want to buy. For influencers, this is the key we're going to send you for this brand new SKU. It's absolutely silly that like you look at the PlayStation Store and it's just like listing after listing after listing. No one in our Discord knows how to buy the game. It's been a constant conversation. You're telling me you couldn't just create one more SKU to make it easy on everybody? It's so silly.
They do have a lot, but yeah, I think it's just because it's being applied as an update to the existing game, which is
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like create a PS5 specific version with the update included as a separate SKU. And
I'd agree with you
only
like
one
9 times out of 10, but to your point, like they have 150,000 SKUs and DLCs and add-ons. I don't want any more from them. They did that with the access pass for last gen, and that was a night that didn't help anything. So while your heart's in the right place, Brian, that's not going to solve anything. People are still not going to know how to buy Hitman or how to get the VR version, even if they did that, because they did that before and people still didn't know. I didn't know.
Neon Groove says I won't buy Hitman until I know it's good and what version to buy. Yeah, maybe they'll be. Maybe I listen.
To my knowledge, it's just the World of Assassination trilogy is all you, or Hitman World of Assassination. That is all you need. PS4 or PS5 version.
Well, the first half of his statement revolved around needing to see reviews, and it's like I just don't know at this point. Like I'm having a hard time caring when it's like, oh yeah, here's a key 3 days before the game comes out, or here's just no keys. Good luck, motherfucker. With any luck, your review will be maybe a week late if I'm lucky. It's just like, maybe I'll just move on to the next thing. I don't know. It's really hard to want to spend 40 hours of your life writing, editing, scripting a review for a game that you just spent 30 hours playing. I don't know, man. I don't.
I think majority of people are just going to buy it anyways. If they are interested in Hitman, or if they like Hitman, they're going to buy it anyways. Most likely.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's gonna be good though. I think it's gonna be good.
I think it's gonna be great. What was the deal with the third person stuff that they had mentioned? Was it a PlayStation blog post? Is that what that was from?
Yeah. When you're like climbing ladders, it's third person. When you're climbing around, it's third person. When you're cutscenes are third person. And yeah, I think definitely in the other one, I think it was all first person. Like I don't remember it ever going into third person, but they just kind of limited what you were able to do and cut out a bunch of stuff. And I loved the first one. And a lot of people
PSVR 1 version.
PSVR 1 version. Yeah, I haven't played the other ones. But I loved the PSVR 1 version a lot. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, I'm sure this will be great.
This seems like a Resident Evil 4 kind of situation where it's like, VR is added after the fact. And so in order to make some things work in terms of like game functionality, it's like, well, to have the smoothest experience, it's going to cost you a little bit of the immersion, take you out like into third person stuff, but I'm fine with that. Like I prefer it to stay in first person? Absolutely. But I also prefer to have Hitman in VR. So like I'll let it slide this time.
Yeah. Humbre D says when you're hiding it's third person, but you're in God mode and you can't spin around to see where the enemies are.
Yeah, I mean I do have to put it to practice. Like I will have to play it and see how much it takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Because that could happen. That could very well happen where I play this. I'm just like, I just don't like this. But with Resident Evil 4, it's like I didn't like it, but it didn't like bother me that much either. Sort of. I
didn't like it at first. At first, I was like, "Oh man, this is I didn't want this," and then you just kind of get used to it, and you're like, "Oh well, you know what? Not every VR game has to be identical to the one that came before it. Like some developers have different ideas of how they can make VR work properly, and yeah, the stuff that the third person stuff in Resident Evil 4 ultimately ended up not being an issue for me whatsoever. We'll just have to see how this one goes. I don't think this is going to be like a 10 out of 10 game. Having not played it, just assuming in listening to the things that I've heard. But I do think this is going to be the best version of World of Assassination yet. That's my impression.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think stuff like that kind of keeps it from being like a 10 out of 10 for me personally, but not everything has to be a 10 out of 10. I think to have that expectation of every single game is unrealistic. And setting yourself up for disappointment always, forever. Yeah. but there were things that about Resident Evil 4 that bothered me that a lot of people seem to overlook. And I've talked about this before. I think I talked about this like when I did my last show, and was talking about like, it wasn't so much like the kicking, like the spin kick. The roundhouse kick or something. The only thing that like really I noticed the big difference was between that and Resident Evil Village was like the deaths. I didn't like when like if you had like a really cool moment, like the big lake monster where he like eats you. Like that was really cool to stay in first person on like the Quest 2 version or something. But yeah, in the remake 4 or whatever, it would cut to like a cinema thing, and I just didn't. It's fine. Like it's fine, but it's not as good as to me as Resident Evil Village, keeping you in first person and letting you see your look down and see you being eaten alive. Like that's the fun and immersion part. That's part of a cool part.
Yeah. And having the jacket inventory in Village, being able to open the jacket, pull out the flashlight, or pull it all just was like so much.
You feel the difference.
So much cooler. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Both were great games. Both were absolutely great games. I think I gave both a 10 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Both very deserving of those scores. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see
I expect Hitman to be at least like I'm hoping for it to be at least a 9.
Yeah. I would be shocked if it wasn't at least a 9.
Yeah, because there's so much it offers you.
Yeah. Shout out to Shapeshifter, the anomaly. Why'd I say it like that, AJ? Game Cat, who gifted 5 without Parole memberships. We thank you very much. Hey, bro, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Dank on our Discord, who left a viewer takeover question in the viewer takeover channel, just like you can. Click the link in the description below and joining our Discord. Get your questions, your comments on the show without paying a single penny. He brought up this image. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Whoa, that's huge. And he said, does anyone think it's possible that this is a hint for a May 2nd release of Aces of Thunder? So it's this Aces of Thunder tweets. It's hashtag Happy International Women's Day. May every target be hit with precision, every flight be thrilling, and every victory well earned. You prove that the sky has no limits for those who aim high. Take the controls, enjoy the flights, and conquer the virtual horizons. And then it's this fucking biplane. Is that a biplane? I can't remember. Yep.
Yes.
I don't know. Cool. Thank you. I just remember biplanes from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and I was like, does it look like that? They got us, son. So anyway, so they said May at the very beginning of the tweet. May every target, and then there's a big 2 on this image, on the wing of the biplane, along with a target that could symbolize a 0. So is it May 2nd, May 20th? I'm guessing just May 2nd because there's a 2 also on the back of the plane with no target next to it. What do you think? Are we reading too much into this, AJ?
Not necessarily. People speculated a similar thing about Firewall Ultra, and that was definitely what they intended to do there. Mm-hmm. It's a fun little thing to speculate about, sure. And I don't like, why is there a 2 on there? I don't know. That makes no sense that there's a 2. Are they racing? Are they race planes? No. So I don't know why there's a 2 on there. So I would say, yeah, like I'd be on board with this being a little teaser, a hint of some sort. Sure.
I mean, Alex in the chat says May 22nd. Let's look at this picture again, because there are 2 2s kind of right next to each other.
Yes. 22nd would make more sense.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe he's now Alex in the chat is saying May 2200. So we got 175 more years to go. We're almost there.
Yeah. We've already waited 175. What's another? It's another 175.
They'll still delay it.
I think that's,
we need one more week.
I think that's a really good observation. I think it is. It definitely seems like a May 22nd thing.
Which is, dude, I mean, that would make May one of my favorite months for PSVR2 ever so far, because so far that would mean Ace of Thunder, along with the Midnight Walk, and then Slender VR, Slender the Arrival.
Oh.
That's a nice little selection of games something for the Sim fans, and then a couple horror games. No complaints, except for unless you're complaining about horror games, which at that point I've already disowned you if you're complaining about horror games. Yep. All right, AJ, we both played a little bit of V-Racer Hoverbike because.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
I played a lot of it.
Yeah, you played a lot more than I did. I don't like wearing my Quest very much, so I play it in short bursts. No, I more sirens on my end. I've enjoyed plenty of things on my Quest. I think we've been through this a million times, but like I didn't love my Quest 1 or Quest 2, but I think the Quest 3 is more than capable. It makes the case for standalone VR, I think, for the first time since its inception. Prior to that, I don't think it was worthwhile, but Quest 3, pretty fucking good. And V-Racer Hoverbike, really fucking good. Surprised by how good that was. Yeah, I got your footage here, I think.
Oh,
nice. Bring it up on screen. Yeah. Did you race against other opponents? I didn't actually go watch through your footage.
Yes. The first race is just a time trial. The rest is up against opponents.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I was really surprised by how good this looked, how well it played. There's a mechanic to steer. A lot of people probably know this already who have already played it. It's been out on early access in Steam for like 6 years, which, again, made me surprised by how good it was because I figured, it's a 6-year-old racing VR game that's like probably really feels outdated at this point. But the controls are really interesting. You can just do this. You kind of like just move your whole upper body left and right to turn left and right. It's got handlebar controls too if you want to use them, and you can invert those or not, like whatever you want to do. But I actually was surprised by how much I enjoyed the motion controls to steer. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, like
how did you play?
The head movement? You mean the head movement motion? Okay.
Yeah, just like that's just doing this, right? Like you did that the whole time.
Yeah, because there were other options, like you said, but I didn't mess with those, like because I was like, this is fine, like I'm cool with this, dude. This game, listen, I talked about this game on my show 2 weeks ago. It headlined my show, but after that, I played even more. This game is basically Wipeout plus Jet Moto, and it's basically a dream come true for me. It's incredible, and I think the game itself is also amazing. This game needs to come to PSVR2, Brian.
Yeah. Well,
no ifs, ands, or buts.
Listen, the cats came out in full force, as they've been doing very frequently, man. I don't know if you saw Andrew Ehrenreich just tweeted about a flat screen game that developers were like, oh man, yeah, like if we want to bring it to every platform possible, like we'll definitely bring it to VR if we can, blah, blah, blah. It's like, and then, Andrew Ehrenreich is out there being like, hey, everybody, fucking show them how much support there is for VR and PSVR2, and like all the cats came out and supported that. And then for this, man, it's like they announced this for Quest, and like nobody on Quest cared, and everybody on PSVR2 was like, oh yeah, like you got to bring this over to PSVR2. We would definitely buy this. This looks amazing. And it's like I guarantee you that the people over at Vertex Breakers are kind of kicking themselves for spending the last year or whatever it's been porting this to Quest instead of PSVR2 where it would actually sell. So good job, everybody. That's all. It's a good job. This is we're getting the word out.
Yeah, and look, if you have a Quest 3, buy this game. Just buy it. If you gotta play this game or buy it on Quest 3 to get it over to PSVR2, just do it. Because while you may spend the majority of your experience on Quest or whatever, this game should be on PSVR2, and you'll do a solid for everyone else that owns a PSVR2 that doesn't own a Quest. It is worth it. It is absolutely worth it. But yeah, it's phenomenal, and it just gets better and better and better, and it's a lot bigger of a game than I was expecting, and it's way more like fleshed out and detailed. It's insane. If it really is Wipeout and Jet Moto, and it really is a dream come true for me. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the progression system looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Being able to upgrade all the aspects of your bike looks really great. I mean, the sense of speed, fantastic. I don't know, man. Like, I think it's a $20 game, something like that.
Yeah. The loops.
Yeah.
The tracks just keep going and going. Like you get introduced. The modes, the game modes. Some of the game modes like are actually better than some of those in like Wipeout. No joke. Oh, yeah. Well, that there a lot of them are heavily taken from Wipeout, so
Yeah.
you can't really give it too much credit there. But there is like one that I really really liked. I don't know if this was in Wipeout or not, but it was called Survival, and you basically just have to stay at the head of the pack, and every time you cross the line, the finish line, or restart the finish line or whatever, the last person gets eliminated. And like, yeah, there's like a couple new game modes in there that are really cool, but it's got like the demolition mode that Wipeout has where you're shooting the mines and then trying to hit like boosts and stuff. It's so good, man. I played this for several hours like a couple weeks ago. I kind of took a break from VR last week because I was like, it was starting to catch up with me, and I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for 8 years, and too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, and I was just burnt out. So I took pretty much almost an entire week off. But prior to that, all I could think about was V-Racer Hoverbike and nothing else. And I was just playing it constantly.
Nice. Well, I just want to say again, good job to everybody. Really getting the word out there, really showing that there's a lot of love for PSVR2. And hopefully these guys will be able to move the port pretty quickly to the finish line. We could definitely use something like this. Yeah.
PlayStation players would go nuts for this.
Yeah. Yeah. They'd also go nuts for fucking Wipeout a Mega Collection, Sony. What are we doing? What's happening?
What are we doing here?
Yeah. Red Sea Gaming says, why does it have weapons but no one to shoot at? Yeah, like this. That's why I was actually asking, because I was looking at your footage, AJ, and I was like, are you just way out in front of everybody? Is that the problem?
Probably.
I
turned the difficulty up later. There is difficulty levels. There's lots of quality of life features in this game, and it gets very nuanced, like settings wise and modes, all the things. Yeah, I'm probably just way out and ahead of everybody, and it's the very beginning of the game, so it's going to be a little easier at first. It gets much harder, much harder.
That's so funny. I basically just cut out the beginning and end of your of the footage you sent me, but yeah, I don't think I've seen any enemies the whole time.
There's definitely other racers. No, there's definitely other racers, and you can run into them. You can blow them up. They run into you. They're a pain in the ass sometimes in a good way. They're actually like, they rubber band. They don't just, it's not just a time trial. Exe Cars, where it's just like a set time that just goes in the same path and every single time. No, it's like different things can happen and occur, and it's nice.
Man, we're supposed to be getting a big Exe Cars update this week, huh? This week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Very nice. I haven't watched this week yet. I'm sorry.
And I don't watch it either, which is
I don't
obvious.
think you have to.
I mean, with all the mistakes that all the cats find in it after the fact, I probably should proof watch it before I upload it. But no, yeah, most of the things we've complained about are getting addressed. They've gotten the SDKs for I want to say Logitech and Fanatec. So they're going to have get some force feedback in those. Still waiting on the Thrustmaster SDKs. But also, some of the glitches in the tracks, like you and I would just run into things that weren't even there.
Yes. Oh my God.
Weird physics things. It sounds like they're addressing a lot of that. The thing that it kept happening to me over and over and over again was just being stuck on a loading screen, waiting for the next map to load in. They said they've addressed that. So a lot of stuff has been taken care of. They might even get they might even be getting multiplayer in this week. So this could be a big week for Exe Cars.
Nice,
my fingers crossed.
I don't know. There's going to be other things happening, I think.
Yeah, like Ancient Dungeon is also getting a massive update this week. I'm just not playing Hitman, AJ. That's what I'm trying to get across here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go watch everyone else's channel. I'm just going to be sleeping. I don't know. Hold on a second. We're not done with tips. We got Wally's now GameCast. Yes.
I was gonna say I'm gonna be playing Hitman, so I'm probably gonna be streaming it day one.
Good, yeah. Watch everybody go to watch AJ's channel. That's where you get your Hitman footage. Your Hitman
Get your
desires. Wally's now GameCast, specifically White Tiger with Canadian $2 tip, says Gamertag VR has previews for both, and it's looking good. I can't heart that. What do you want me to do? Come on. All right. Do you want to talk about Underdogs? I don't want to talk about Underdogs.
I kind of do a little bit.
Yeah. If you want to talk about Underdogs, we can talk about Underdogs. I don't.
We can
talk
about first impressions now, or
reviews went up today. I thought the embargo was tomorrow.
Reviews went up today.
I saw reviews go up today, so I'm assuming that I just had my embargo dates wrong.
So you and I were kind of talking when we were playing this, and I've been excited about this because it's a mech game. I've been really wanting a good mech game.
Sure.
I actually recorded my first hour of it, and I wanted to upload it to Patreon. I wanted to upload it to the channel, but the reason I didn't is because by the end of the first impression, I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't really getting into it, and I wasn't too crazy about it, to be honest with you. The roguelike elements of it is what's killing it for me, because it's and you spend a lot of time in the day cycles in between fighting. It feels like you fight for like 5 minutes and then you spend like 10 minutes repairing, upgrading, doing other activities that they have. And the pacing of it, all the stuff, and I just wasn't feeling it. But the funny part is I kind of like forced myself to keep going. And I eventually started I died, and then I came back with like a saw blade hand. And then I started having a lot more fun from there. So I played about 2 hours of it, and dude, I'm just not used to roguelikes, man. Like, it's not a genre that I know much about. And so we've
been inundated.
The only roguelikes I've played are from VR.
Yeah.
But but none of them have felt like a true roguelike. I don't know. There's not like a standard. Like, this set the standard for me. Like, even Ancient Dungeon, which is supposed to be the best roguelike, I've had one successful run on it, and that's it. Like, I'm just not wired that way. I'm not wired to. I'm not good at intentionally dying in games. I've played games for 30 something years, training myself how not to die in video games. So something that gets better as you die, I don't want to do that. I don't like that feeling of even though that's how you kind of unlock how the game works, it's I just don't like that. I don't like the feeling of dying in games. I like to win games.
I mean, you're not supposed to enjoy dying in roguelites either, but the problem is that unlike a lot of games, dying is rewarding rather than, I gotta go load my last save, which is just irritating.
And that's new to me. Because I died and I was I was like, oh, this is so much better now after I died. But I'm like, I don't want to die again. So I go for a really long time without dying. And then I just am just underpowered the whole time and missing lots of cool extra stuff.
Yeah. Listen, I am very much still in the first half of your experience. I played until I died, and I'm like, I'll get back to this. And I just never got back to it. I've had this game for a week and a half. And I'm just, I don't, there's so much about it that I don't like, right? It's a mech game that controls gorilla tag, where you have to stomp around the arena with your hands. And it's okay. I'm like, that's fine. I mean, it's an arena. We're not traveling long distances. Fine. And so it's kind of Gorn-like, a little Gornish, a little Gornonic. But what I don't like, and this is kind of surprising to me, is a lot of the roguelite stuff, because I've learned just how much I love roguelites over the last, I guess, close to the last decade. Not including VR stuff, and then of course adding VR stuff later on. There's so many roguelites that I just absolutely love. This one plays out a lot like Ghost Signal. And for some reason, Ghost Signal, to me, works with text on screen and menus that you're clicking through. There's something very Star Control about that. Space
because
simulator.
You're in the world, and it keeps you in there. It doesn't take you out of it. It's just you stay in the world, and that stuff just pops up while you're still engaged in everything going on.
Well, so this does very similar stuff. Like the roguelite elements of Underdogs is all these like menus between battles, between fights, between arena fights, where you go and you go talk to different vendors, and you kind of like roll the dice on teaming up with people and having them like sabotage opponents for you or whatever. But it's all done through menus and pop-up windows, and it feels very shallow, and the whole thing has a like this underground Grand Theft Auto, like, intentionally lots of vulgarity
like,
in terms of swearing, and
kind of like like a British gangster kind of thing going on.
yeah, and it feels so forced to me, where I'm like, it's so cringy. Just, it doesn't feel honest, it doesn't feel real, it doesn't feel like it just feels like somebody trying to make something that's not edgy feel edgy. And I'm like, this is, and it just really turned me off. Which, some things in those worlds really really work, and I've enjoyed a lot of games that have that motif. This one just doesn't feel right to me. But you know what? Like, this is why I don't. Again, we've talked about this many times in the past. This is why I don't review games after an hour. This is why I even if I don't want to, I give games multiple chances, and I want to at least complete the game before rendering a final verdict on it. Talking about it on GamesCast is a little bit different. I don't mind telling you what my first impressions were, because you guys understand this is not a official without parole review. But,
yeah, I had to force myself to play it to finally get to the point where I started enjoying it. And that being said, yeah, I mean, I definitely don't like, I'm not like super excited to jump back in or anything. I'm not feeling like I have to go back and play it. The good news here is that the brawling itself, like the fighting, I think is pretty good. Like, I think the combat or whatever, it's still not like the best physics at all. It's not the most visceral, but it has its moments where it does feel really, really good. I think the brawling is pretty good, and that's the good news here. I was starting to turn it around on this. I'm like, yeah, like, like I enjoy the combat, and I was starting to kind of get into it a little bit, because it does get better as you unlock different arms, different upgrades, things like that, like the roguelike things. I was really excited. I was like, well, not really excited, but I was like feeling good about this game. And then I saw the price point, and then I was like, $30.
yeah.
Like, oh man, I'm like, that is just rough. Like who? I don't know. Not many people are gonna buy this at $30. It's not a very competitive price. I don't like the, it could be very well. That's what the value of the game is. That's fine. That's fair. But I think if you're trying to compete in a very competitive smaller market, that's a tough price right there.
Yep.
Except for the few people that are just like diehard, buy physical everything, kind of stuff. But that's more like a collector thing, and that's even smaller audience. But
for some people, yeah, for sure. But there are people who just only buy things physically, period, and actually play them from the disc. Listen, I don't know if the price point's accurate for this or not yet. I don't know what the scope of this game is. If we're comparing roguelite to roguelite, then I'll take a $20 ancient dungeon that is, I mean, just beautiful from from both a visual and auditory perspective. With just an infinite amount of replayability. They just keep adding more and more content to it. It just feels like it's my kind of game over a game that's $10 more, that I don't think looks nearly as good, and it doesn't play quite the way that I'd want it to if I got to decide how this game played out. I don't know, man. I really wish that there was something more to it, like outside of the fights. I wish that they could get rid of some of those menu screens. I wish that there was an area to walk around in, even if it was a map screen, and then it kind of faded out and faded back in, and now here you are in first person walking up to people and having these conversations, rather than just going through all these menu screens. Something to give it a little bit more character, a little bit more depth, from an interactive standpoint. Right,
it's all menus.
Yeah,
and the thing is, the fights last about 5 minutes or so. So you're like, you literally are spending the majority of your time in menus in this, and comic cutscenes, and you know,
Yeah.
like I think some people are gonna really really like it, and I don't think it's necessarily like bad or anything. I just think it just appeals to such a small audience.
Yep.
And to me, it's kind of like how Big Shots is like the mech shooter on the platform. This is like the mech brawler on the platform. I feel like they're pretty much the same thing. Just one's a shooter, one's a brawler, and neither are really anything super special. I'm still waiting for that definitive like mech game to come out, and yeah, I don't know. I don't. Somebody just copy Mech Warrior or something. Like it shouldn't be that difficult to come up with a good mech game that appeals to a wide audience.
Neon Groove in the chat said workout game ? And
No,
it really, I think it is. I think
you think it is?
The entire time you're in battle, you're like moving your arms furiously just to move around, and then like you're swinging, and they even in the tutorial, they're like, okay, ready now, swing, and they're like, no, you gotta like swing wider, you gotta swing bigger, and it's like, bro, I'm in a fucking mech. I should be able to do a small punch and have this monstrous response from my mech. That's the point of being in a mech. Otherwise, why aren't we just standing out there fist fighting, right? You have to do these big elongated swings to make a forceful punch and just to move around. Yeah, it's very I found it to be very active.
It is. I mean, it is a little bit more active, but yeah, I don't know.
And I think that was a big problem for me because, but I've been very, very tired for the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted when I sat down to play this, I wanted to just sit down on the couch and just use an analog stick to move around the arena, and maybe like do some of these in order to throw punches. And it was like, no, Brian, that's not the kind of game this is. And I said, okay, I'm gonna still give it a shot. But I think that led to these first impressions that I'm telling you about to be a little bit more negative than I want them to be, right? You've got to be in the mood to play a very physical game, and I wasn't in the mood for it. You shouldn't really play this sitting down. This is much more of a standing game.
Yeah, but at least forcing myself to play it, I eventually kind of started to like it a little bit more, and thought it was pretty good. I can see the positives after a while. It took a while. Basically, it took me dying to be like, oh, like this is so much better after I died once.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Good.
I see the potential here. Like I said, I like the brawling. I do like the brawling. It can get pretty chaotic. It can get pretty fun, but yeah, it's just really hard to like want to play it.
Well, let's switch gears, AJ, and let's talk about some Wanderer, because
woohoo!
That's the headline of the day. That's what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the show. We got to play the first, what was it, 2 hours or so of Wanderer? Is that as far as you made it?
Yeah, I played 2 hours. The first 2 hours, they said we could play up to the moon.
I think they said we could play through the moon and then to the Mayan, but don't show any of the
No. It was the moon only.
We can show the moon?
Yeah. You can show up to the moon.
Good, because I'm hitting the button now. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Which, yeah, took me about 2 hours to get to.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Dude, listen. I have so many thoughts about this. I think we were all somewhat nervous. I think we were all a little bit, worried that this could go wrong somehow. And I'll tell you, the second you start this game up and you see the Mighty Eyes logo and everything looks crystal clear in the menu, it's just like, oh my God. Like, the thing's running at 90 frames per second. It's running in very high resolution. It is a very, very good looking game. So just like right off the bat, you're like, oh, thank God. Like, they didn't completely screw it up. I think it could have gone really horribly, right? Because they took a game that everybody loved on PSVR1, or at least people who have played it. A lot of people think it's one of the best PSVR1 games or VR games ever made. And it's like, well, what are you fucking with it for? It's like, but it's very obvious right from the get-go why it's taken Mighty Eyes 3 years to get this thing done. 3 years, AJ. There are people I've seen comments from. I copied and pasted them into the Run of Show. We can read them now. We can read them later. But people are apprehensive about spending this much money on a game that they've already played, or or whatever. And I just gotta say, man, it's a $50 game, or $40 if you already bought it on PSVR1. And they spent 3 years remaking this game. That is longer than Skydance spent making Behemoth from the ground up. You know what I mean? This is a game that already had a skeleton. This is a game that already had puzzles in place, and environments, and characters, and dialogue. And they spent 3 years remaking it. For first impressions, I think it was worthwhile.
Yeah, so we should remind everyone once again, we are playing a pre-review build.
Right.
There's already a major patch coming or whatever. And then there's probably going to be more post-launch, of course, as it usually goes. Yeah, man, this game on PSVR 1 was already, I think, one of the greatest VR games of all time. And what they have done, remaking it for the last 3 years, is basically just flesh it out even more and add more mechanics to it, like platforming, combat. Because it was mostly, it had a little bit of combat here and there, but it was mostly just a puzzle game, a pure puzzle game. And in playing this build, I don't want to set expectations too high. I don't want to listen. This is going to be very reckless of me.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Here's the God's honest truth from the bottom of my heart. I swear to God. I feel like I'm playing potentially the greatest VR game ever made. Now, that being said, there's things that I don't know how they're going to end up being with the final build.
Right.
Because the only like flaws I've noticed so far are with some of the things that they've added that are brand new. And let me just say, despite playing this game before, this feels like a whole new experience. Like, even though I've played this before and it was like amazing, it's like, this feels like I'm having the time of my life because there's so much new stuff, right? And like stuff that I thought I knew, like I didn't. I'm like having to refigure it out again. But dude, like I legitimately think this is like one of the best so far. Within the first 2 hours, this already feels like one of the best VR games I've ever played. And I feel like this game, what it's aiming to do, right? Maybe not where it is right now, but what it's aiming to do is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. And it is honestly something that feels like something I would expect from a Sony first party title if they knew how to really make first party titles. Like this feels like The Last of Us or Uncharted in VR for me personally. Now everybody lower their expectations because I am, this is really unfair to put this kind of like expectations and everybody expecting the world's greatest, most perfect game ever in the world. It's unfair to this game. Do not do that. I'm just telling you, for me personally, that's just how I feel. I feel like it's the best VR game I've ever played. Not even joking.
Wow. Okay. I agree with you. The way you said it was very strange. Right.
Sure. It's fair.
Because you said what they're setting out to do is 10 out of 10. And yes. I agree with you. Right?
Yes.
So one of the things that I'd speculated on a GAMESCAST, I don't know if it was in the last couple months, was when we saw new footage of Wanderer, and there was a lot of like first person shooting. There was a lot of combat. I was like, wait, this is a puzzle game with minimal shooting and minimal combat. What's going on here? And now with this new version, they've added, you saw the rope swinging, you saw the climbing, you saw the jumping and the swimming already. I think all of that's been in this footage already. So they've given you all the controls of a full-fledged, adventure game, a flat screen adventure game, that you would expect, and then all these VRAF elements that you expect in a VR game, kind of like, and they keep shoving more and more and more of that into an already fantastic puzzle game. And so my question was, I was like, are they trying to like Half-Life Alyx their existing game, right? And once I got in there, I was like, I think that's exactly what they've done, right? Now, again, our preview build, the combat doesn't feel great.
No.
It actually feels like oh, you can tell that this is a new thing for them and they haven't quite mastered it. But we're gonna have to see what it's like at release, because this is something the team is aware of and they want it to be more impactful. And it sounds like they've already got maybe a patch completed that we haven't been able to play yet, that improves the combat. And so we're gonna have to like see how this evolves over the next week or so. But it is cool to go into places that we've been before, and an elevator door opens and two guards like run off of the elevator, out of the elevator, and you can dispatch them any way that you want. You can run and hide.
Use your fist. You can there's like fist fighting in this now. Now, granted, that's the problem though, is like some of the things that they've added at this current build, they don't feel that great. Like the punching, there's a parrying system. Like you can actually parry attacks like you would in freaking Behemoth or something, and you can straight up fist fight. It's crazy, but that's where kind of the problems lie right now with this early build, is that you know, some of the interactions, some of the things, all this new stuff they're trying to do, I really like. They're really like aiming high for what they're trying to achieve here, but I think in that process, at least with what we've played so far, you know, some of that is where the rough edges kind of occur. The combat, you know, it's so awesome that you can do this, but it's kind of feeling like drunken bar fight right now. There's new platforming and climbing, and like I love all this stuff. Like this is a great way to mix in things, keep things exciting, but like some of the interactions and stuff can feel like there's a little bit of jank here and there. So this stuff all, you know, has to be ironed out. But let me just tell you, if they can pull this off, if they can execute this and it feel like completely polished as much as possible, you're looking at a 10 out of 10 easily.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely depends on how much they can polish this up, because I feel like they're so close. They're so close. It really does. A lot of it feels good. Like, I mean, the rope swinging. Listen, I still don't completely understand rope swinging in this game. They said like open your arms up.
Yeah.
You
just swing your arms. You just swing your arms and you do this. You just do this.
Okay.
It's explained kind of weird.
You said open your arms up, and I was like, well,
yeah, like open your arms out, I think. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, but like it still felt like when I was like, well, I'll just do what feels natural. And when I did that, it worked. And I was like, okay, well then perfect. And, you know, a lot of it feels a little Saints and Sinners-y, and I don't mean that in a good way. Like Saints and Sinners was very physics-y when it came to like, you try punching a zombie in the face in Saints and Sinners, and it's like, it'll work, but it's not going to feel very good, right? That's not what they want you to do in Saints and Sinners. They want you to be, you know, chopping a zombie in the head with an axe or something like that, or shooting it with a fucking shotgun. And I think that's kind of what they want you to be doing in this too. And so, you know, you can throw punches, you can, you know, I found the little shield. Did you find the little shield? I was like, I'm like a little mini knight. I had a little shield in one hand, and a little knife in the other, and I felt like I had a small version of a sword and shield, and it was like, hey, look at me.
Oh, I didn't see the sword. I had a shield and a tea kettle.
Right. Well, and
I was like, bring it on. And you damn right, I beat the shit out of them with the tea kettle and a shield. And I even parried your knife with the little shield, and it like sparked and flew away from me or whatever.
Yeah, you can that's the cool thing about this game, because it was clearly made from the ground up for VR. Like Resident Evil Village, you're walking around and there's just shit all over a table and you can't pick it up. Same with Resident Evil 4. Same with a lot of, you know, flat screen games that have brought to VR. You can pick up so much stuff in this game. You can, if there's like an office chair, then you can like definitely push it and slide it right across the room. It's like there's so much stuff that you can interact with, that like you can fight these guys however you want to. And it does seem like most of it's pretty stealthy too. You can you're able to
there's stealth. Yeah.
They've
added, and that's new. Yeah, that's part of that's part of the new thing too. Is and you have that option. Like again, what they're aiming to do here is just insane. Like they're insane for doing this. They didn't have to do all this.
Right.
All they had to do was just remaster the graphics of the first one. But I think that they raised their own bar because they're trying to be the best VR game ever made. And yeah, unfortunately, like I said, that's where some of the rough edges are showing. Because every time I played everything that was existing in the game, just like the puzzles, like the puzzles are like perfect. All the puzzles, all the all that is just perfect. But all the new stuff, the platforming actually seemed to be fine. What about the height, dude? Okay, so we got to talk about this too. Like, I mean, so graphically, this is really impressive. This is super sharp and clear. I did have a little bit of a bug at first, but I went back into it. I restarted the game. I don't know. I think this may have just been my headset or something eye tracking messing up. But I went back into it. And dude, like the lighting, it's got real-time lighting. The water looks phenomenal. The shadows, all that stuff is in real time. It looks insane. It looks like a AAA game running at 90 native. It's weird.
Yeah. Like, listen, I certainly found, I've certainly found areas that I was like, well, this could look better, right? But the only reason even I even had that reaction to it was because 95% of what I've seen so far just looks incredible. And so, and it's like you see like some little area that's just like, some boring green grass that like doesn't have any depth to it or anything. You're like, oh, that's weird. Or these enemies don't have any like shadows attached to them. It's like, okay, cool. Listen, I get it. This team is doing their absolute best to create something that looks and plays like a AAA game, but they're not a AAA team, right? And it's like, I saw Chrome Colossus in the chat say like, delay it a couple more months and get it. It's like, no, dude, like there's only so much this team's going to be able to do, right? I think you got to allow for imperfection, right? It's like, let these guys do everything they possibly can, and who knows, maybe they can patch it further down the road or whatever. But dude, it's like, again, 3 years they've spent making this, and I'll say, AJ, like I want to bring this up real quick. Digital Delirium in the YouTube comments wrote $40 for Wanderer upgrade, because it's $50 again if you haven't already bought it. $10 off if you have. He goes, takes it out of a no-brainer territory for me. Love the first go, but it's not endlessly playable, and I'm going to have to see what reviewers say about the difference before I can pull the trigger. $20 would have been a day one upgrade with no thought. Listen, these are the kind of developers that I want to support. Like, I kind of wish they didn't even bother with a discount for people who owned it already, because $10 does seem kind of, it's like really just $10 off. Right? Or if it was a $10 upgrade, a $20 upgrade, fine. But it's just like, oh, it's $40. It's like at that point, say, listen, guys, we love everybody who bought it on PSVR 1. They're like, but you don't understand. Like, we spent 3 full years. We had to pay the entire team this much money in order to rebuild this game from the ground up and making it more VRAF and improve the graphics and the lighting and add more locations and more puzzles. And we added climbing and jumping and swimming and all these different. It's like we're trying to make one of the best games we've ever made ever in VR. It's like that costs money, right? And so as much as I understand people are like, well, I don't want to double dip or buy this game twice. Like, dude, I got in this. I don't think I'd played it since reviewing it on PSVR 1. I got in here and I was like, man, I forgot how much I love this world. I forgot how much these guys are just masters of amazing puzzle solving. Like, and so even though I haven't seen much new, right? I mean, we've obviously seen sections like even what I've shown you here in this gameplay of like, traversing and the using ropes or whatever to get around and jumping down ledges instead of teleporting down off of them. Even though that's all new, I haven't seen like real new locations yet and new puzzles, right? And I desperately like want to keep playing this in order to be able to see those areas and see what these developers have in store for me, because as we've already stated, these guys just fucking know how to make an awesome puzzle. Like they're just this whole section right here, if anybody has played it before, once you get into what is it, your uncle's apartment or your grandfather's apartment? What the hell is this? I can't remember what.
That's a good question. Yeah, it's your uncle or your grandfather, one of the two.
Once you get in here,
I think it's
right,
your grandfather.
it's the first time the game kind of slows down and you go, okay, it's now all about exploration. I want to, like, you find the watch and you're really getting, now you really, the story starts setting in, and then and you have to figure out how to turn the electricity on in the place, and it feels like one gigantic escape room that all is interconnected in the best possible way, and it's just so much fun to explore and figure things out. It's like I would just think it sucks that people, aren't willing to support developers who are putting this much time and care and effort in creating these beautiful worlds and, creating awesome puzzle solving. And just like, again, one of the best VR games like we've ever played, possibly. And people are going to go, oh, well, I wish it was a $10 upgrade. It's like, yeah, well,
it's like, get used to games like this and more disappearing then.
Yeah, you could have gotten a $10 upgrade, but it would have been the exact same game that we already played, and who the fuck who wants that?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, that's the big difference here, is that this is not just a one-to-one remaster of just, higher resolution. This is completely, like I said, it's a completely new experience in many different ways. And like, I'm so excited because like a majority of the new stuff seems like it's platforming and action. That's what they've added to this. Cause before it was just a puzzle game. And it was great, but I think adding the platforming, I like the platforming so far. And I think that adds something a little bit new and cool to it, but the action, if they can refine that combat, which they have a patch on the way, so we'll have to wait and see. I definitely agree with everyone in the chat that's like saying like, I still need to wait for a review. Yeah, like you should absolutely wait to see what the final product at launch is, for sure.
Agreed.
But cannot stress enough like that, like what they're trying to achieve here is like, again, it's like what they're trying to achieve is like the tier of, either Half-Life Alyx or The Last of Us or Uncharted. It's like they're trying to achieve what AAA first party studios achieve, and a lot of that shows. But yeah, I'll be very curious to see how some of that, dude, the avatar, man, you now have full body IK. You see your full thing. I don't know about for you, but like, they show in the trailer, they show that you like your Asher or whatever, and you're wiping the condensation off the mirror. And then you see like the eyes blinking. Yeah. Like it's got the eye tracking. That was really trippy to me. Like I was sitting there, and just like, I wiped off the condensation and looking in the mirror, and I'm blinking, and like there was something really special about that moment for me, where I was like, this is what VR is like all about. Like I'm literally looking at myself as another person. This is like some quantum leap shit going on, where it is just like a surreal experience. And because it's, like you're seeing your body react completely. I'm like, yeah, like this is the kind of stuff that just makes sets VR apart, where it's like, holy crap, like this is some really next gen feeling stuff. And I think the avatar is really cool.
I think the avatar is really cool too, but I also think that, with every plus there's a minus, and I don't think like at least as of right now, I think it's caused some problems for me.
Like the avatar?
Yeah. Like I think you might see, right here. Yeah. My character's jumping for no reason at all. And it's because I'm too close to that countertop.
Oh, yeah. If you run up to the counter, it runs up onto it.
Oh yeah. I've seen that too. Yeah. And so, but I'm just standing there, like, doing some puzzle solving. So it's like spray, wipe. And my character starts jumping. I'm not even moving, and it's just jumping for no reason. Like, again, I told the team about this. They're already aware of it. They're already working on fixing it. And so like, we'll see if that is all addressed by launch, but it's like, that's an issue with full body IK. And it's like, that's weird. It always sounds like somebody else is in the room with me. Because when I'm looking around, do you hear footsteps when you're looking around? Does that happen to you?
Yeah, there's been some like weird, like ambient noises, stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I chalked that up to being part of the, pre-review build.
I mean, I hope so.
Because that's a
Right?
very obvious thing. Like there was some like obvious things that like, yeah, I wasn't even gonna bother mentioning because I'm like, there's no way nobody saw this or anything. Like this is as obvious as it gets. So I
right.
imagine that they're aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope so. So anyway, but that's some of the issues with full body IK. That's why we're like, oh, yes, full body IK is awesome when it's done right. So again, there's small issues, and they seem like such a big deal when everything else is so polished and everything else looks and feels so good and it's so fun to play. Um, so so yeah, I just think that these guys are potentially one of the biggest up and coming studios in the VR space, and I really hope this game turns out to be the 10 out of 10 we want it to be, or at least a 9 out of 10, something really high up there.
Yeah.
Because this very well could have been a game that came out at the wrong time on PSVR1 and then was never heard from again.
Yeah.
That in an alternate history that very well could have happened, and I'm actually shocked that it didn't, because it's from an IP that no one's familiar with, right? It's a brand new IP is what I should say.
Yeah, it's already gonna have
Right. It's a puzzle game that the original one didn't focus on action, and so like had a limited appeal. Very well could have just disappeared. We never would have heard from it again. But we are in somehow a reality where this is a thing, and I'm very happy about it.
Yeah. I love so much about this. I love how cinematic it feels. Like it seriously feels like a cinematic first party game from Sony. In many, many ways. Where it's lacking is in that comparison is like the polish of the gameplay and the mechanics and some of the things like that. That's where I encountered like the most issues was just some of all VR games are going to have some jank to some degree, but it's like no, like they need to polish this up a little bit more because and it's interesting. A game like this, a situation like this game, what it's in right now. I mean, obviously we got to wait to play the final build for launch. But let's say it did launch with like, some issues, and it's like, do we want to be, it's going to kind of put it, it's kind of a tricky situation to be in. Cause it's like, well, do you put it on the consumer to kind of be supportive and understanding and patient and, try and help these developers achieve what they're trying to achieve? Or is everybody just going to be like, no, I just want the fully finished 100% perfect product. And they're not getting an ounce of my money, like a dime from me until they do that. And I can see kind of an argument for both sides, but for me personally, it's like, yeah, like I first of all, again, pre-review build, it's really hard to, this is not like a review, right? Like we can't review. We can just tell you what our first impressions of this pre-review build is. So it's a tricky situation for all of us, really. But I can see what they're trying to do here, and what I think they're trying to do, or what they're obviously trying to do, is really, really incredible.
Yeah. Listen, in a perfect world, I would tell everybody, listen, like we need to support certain developers, and this is one we need to support. So fucking do it up. Like, but yeah, listen, I don't. It's no matter how bad things are in the VR space at the moment, it still shouldn't be on the consumer to
push them over the finish line or something, or have to deal with like issues, or
I mean,
help.
Yeah, all of those things. None of them are exactly what I was trying to get at, but yes, all of those things. We should be buying complete finished products. We should be buying games that like we shouldn't have anything to worry about, even if like some games should be bigger in scope and smaller in scope, and you pay for the scope and blah blah blah, blah whatever, right? But unfortunately, that's just not the world we live in, regardless of VR or not. You can't buy a fucking flat screen game anymore without it being incomplete and without it just being patched to death for months. So, I don't really know anymore, man. I don't really know. And it takes a lot.
I think it just comes. I think it's just up to the individual, right? Like some people, they are just going to want to buy the fully finished, like fully patched everything, and Some people are a little bit more open-minded, understanding what's at stake here, and are willing to kind of show them support, because they know that if they support them, then they're gonna get there. But if they don't, then they're not. So it's a yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, like everything would just be perfect, but that's just not how it is these days. It's rarely that like that these days.
Here's what I'll say. If you're out there jumping up and down and screaming about not getting AAA games in VR, and you're not buying Wander and you're not buying Hitman, well then I don't want to hear you're complaining anymore, because
True.
you're not supporting the companies that are giving you the games that you want. And if you're not supporting those studios, then like now it is on you. End of story. So.
Stuff like Arcanage, and shout out to everybody that bought Arcanage, and shout out to everybody that bought Legendary Tales. And
Arcanage sold big, AJ. Did you hear?
So really, wow, that's new. Wait, we should do a breaking news right now. No, like these are definitely the types of things we should be. I do want to support, because things can have flaws, things can have whatever, not be perfect, but it's like I can still see. To me personally, Brian, I'd rather have like a game that's trying to achieve something. Now everybody's different, of course. Some people just like, no, everything, give us less, but make it be perfect. I've always been I'll take a game that has like a couple issues here and there, because it's trying to do so damn much and do something so incredibly special that, there's some kinks in the armor, but,
Yep.
But I understand both sides. It really just depends on the person.
Yeah, and listen, I think the two sides of the argument that we're talking about right now are not the two sides that everybody out there thinks we're talking about. Like Charger Mike says, I'm not paying full price for a half-assed build. Sorry. We're not asking you to. No one would ever ask you to do that. Like, even if Wanderer launched the exact way that it is, right? It's like we're talking about minor issues. Minor issues that are keeping it from basically being perfection, being like, oh man, I wish the combat was a little bit better. We're not talking about a game that's half-assed or anything that's half-assed. We're talking about like, hey, this team maybe bit off a little bit more than they could chew, but I think I'm actually happier that it's there and not super impressive than just not be there at all. It adds a ton of variety and adds a lot of gameplay variety to the proceedings.
And I will say, this is something that some games, only special games, only the chosen ones do. I didn't want to stop playing this. Yep. I didn't even realize I was playing this for 2 hours. It didn't feel like 2 hours because I was just having so much fun. Yes, there was like minor things here and there, but it was like I didn't want to stop playing this at all. And that's the sign of a really good game, where it's like you don't want to put it down because you're just having so much fun.
It's really good at rewarding you. It's like you solve a puzzle, and for some, it almost feels like every time you solve something, you end up with two things to be like, oh, I can go do this or go do this. And shit, I kind of want to do both at the same time. Just grab them and you go and you try to do two things at the same time. It's never like, okay, I solved one puzzle and now it's like, okay, narrow corridor to the next thing I got to figure out, narrow corridor to the next thing. It just feels like there's so much potential at every turn. It's like, I want to do everything. And I think the more you slow yourself down and open every single drawer and look behind every corner, you find little puzzles that you can solve if you want to. You don't have to solve, ways to upgrade Samuel, your watch, to be able to carry more items, and he's more fully functional now than he used to be. This is exactly this. Listen, Arcanage was fun, right? And I thought it was extremely polished.
Yeah,
and I think that game deserves all the love that it gets. But like, it's very combat heavy. And I'm thinking about Metro and Behemoth and all these other games that I've been playing over the last few months. None of them are scratching the itch the way that Wanderer is. This is doing something very special, and it's putting me in a world that I really want to be in, right? So I think this is special to me because I grew up playing like point-and-click adventure games, like whether it be LucasArts or Lucasfilm, Sierra games, King's Quest, Space Quest, Police Quest, all those games, right? And so it's letting me do all of this really cool, bizarre puzzle solving in a beautiful VR space. So I think it just speaks to me in a way that all of those games that we've gotten recently that are great, like this just for some reason feels like it's on another level. Yeah.
This feels like if they get it to where, they're trying to get it to, that this is a like system seller, this is a reason to own a PSVR, or this is a reason to get into VR, or this is like basically like I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over, but yeah, it's something incredibly special and something that shows what like the capability. It's like another Half-Life Alex to me. It doesn't have the name recognition, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't mean it's not. But yeah, obviously it's got a long way to, or it's got, there's some ways to go there, because they're, like you said, they're a smaller team. They don't have the same resources, but holy shit, man. Like, yeah, they're absolutely nuts for adding all this extra stuff. But it makes it so much more exciting than I thought, actually. Cause I was like, okay, like, I know what to expect, but there's just going to be some platforming here and there, but it's actually a lot more fun than I expected that to be. And like a lot more fun and surprising and unexpected, in some unexpected ways than I was anticipating.
I'm assuming Sam from the Wanderer team is watching because she's texting me right now. And she says the jumping issue that I experienced is already fixed. And so I responded just now and said, do you still hear random footsteps? And she said, we're working on it. So they are hard at work. The next week is going to be really interesting. Yeah, dude, this is going to be a good one. This one is, I don't know if anybody remembers, the first week of the PSVR 1 version of this game was not flawless either. It get really easy to lose items. Do you remember this? It got really easy to lose items.
Yeah.
And like I would take items back. If anybody hasn't played this, it's very Quantum Leap like you're jumping around into different people's bodies into different times, and so you're and it's interesting because you've got an inventory and you're also able to carry things when you're jumping through time, and so you end up with just like hundreds of items all being used for puzzle solving, but you don't have a very big inventory. And so what I would do is every time I would find shit, I would bring it back to the apartment that you saw in this gameplay footage, and I would just throw it on the couch. Right? It was sort of the same mentality I had during oh shit, not Ghost of Tabor. What fucking survival first person shooter were we just playing? Oh, fuck me. Come on, somebody has to have working brain cell around here.
I'm sorry, anybody? There was a solicitor knocking on my door.
Into the radius.
Into the radius.
Into the radius. Like some people had really, really organized, home bases, and into the radius where they stacked up ammo and they had like different sections for everything, and everything was really organized. I would just take shit and just throw it onto the shelves, and it was just like piling out, like just piled up. And it was an thank you, Headbite. It was an absolute disaster. But that's sort of how my living room in Wanderer was like. I would just take all these puzzle solving items and just throw them onto the couch, and so the couch was just loaded up with tons and tons of shit. And so sometimes those items would clip through the environment and just disappear, and you'd never be able to get them back. Right. So there were elements with because such an ambitious game with this crazy inventory that like it was hard to kind of account for all of this stuff and account for all how these items would react in all these places. That's not an issue anymore. Now you can just like spawn items once you found them when you need them, which is really good. But again, it's like, so we thought that Wanderer was this incredible game, groundbreaking game on PSVR 1, and that didn't launch flawlessly either. So as much as we we want to hold developers up to a standard and say, listen, make sure your game's fucking ready before it comes out, we also have to give a little bit of space for understanding and say that there's no way they could possibly fix every single bug, because they're not going to encounter every single one, and their playtesters aren't going to experience every single one. It's not till it gets out there into the public where that's where the real playtesting begins. I hate modern gaming, AJ. I really do.
Yeah, there's still lots of good stuff here and there.
Thank God for VR, because man, flat screen gaming is.
I like split fiction.
Oh yeah, everyone keeps talking about that.
Yep.
Yeah. Looper, the Underground Game Cat with the level 3 membership, says, "Oops, I totally forgot you are a thing."
Hi, Looper.
Am I a thing?
Or a person. Or a place.
I'm a noun. Some would even say a pronoun. Magic the Game Cat with the €5 says, isn't it a huge gamble for Mighty Eyes to spend 3 years on a game that was nearly perfect already?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
They should have just paid VR Monkey to port the original game over and be like, we don't care if this sells. It wasn't that expensive.
No, I like what they did here. I like what they did. I think it's going to end up being a better game in the long run.
Yeah.
As long as they get that build out as ASAP.
Well, this kind of reminds me of what Naughty Dog did with The Last of Us. Remember when Naughty Dog brought The Last of Us to PS4? It was they basically said, like, yeah, we were just porting an existing game, our existing game to PS4, kind of got us able to get acclimated to the hardware. It was like, that's cool. And they were like, our next game is going to benefit because of the work we did on porting The Last of Us to PlayStation 4. And I really think that's very similar to what's going on here. Mighty Eyes was able to bring this entire game over to PSVR2 and into a brand new engine that they created, the VRAF engine, right? Where and I think that I think it's their intention, don't quote me on this, that they want to license this engine out to other VR developers, and it's supposed to cut down on development time, right? Because interactions are all kind of like programmed into this VRAF engine. Right. And so like it's a lot of stuff that like a lot of developers are not going to want to get bogged down with the technical side of things. It's like, hey, now you just need to create your world and your story and your characters. Like, don't get bogged down with the technical side of things. And so my guess is that Wanderer 2, which we've already seen a preview of, right? It's going to be a pirate game based on.
Well, sort of. I mean, it's going to have definitely something to do with pirates, but if it's a time travel thing, it could be anything.
I agree with you. But if you're marketing your game
as a pirate thing, yeah, it should
with,
be
with a pirate flag and what's it called? The Sails of Justice. I don't know what it's fucking called. It's called We Be Pirates. Arg. It's not a pirate
pirates definitely don't sail with the flags of justice or whatever you call them.
Whatever. I mean, pirate justice.
Quite
pirate
the opposite.
Justice.
What the hell is pirate justice, Brian?
I don't know, but it's definitely
Isn't that like the point of being a pirate? Is to not.
I thought booty. I thought getting booty was the point of being a pirate.
And that's what being a pirate's all about. It's all about that booty.
It's all about that booty.
Mm-hmm. Now we're talking. Now you're speaking my language.
All about that bass, no treble. Snafu, the $2 tip says, did they change Asher to a guy or is it a choice? The first game didn't have any in-game avatars.
Yeah.
They didn't use pronouns when talking about your character. To my recollection. I don't think they said he or she or.
I think it was intentionally kind of ambiguous, right? Like
right, and gender neutral name.
Yeah.
And so, but now that you've got a full body avatar with reflections, I think the team had to say, we need to decide, right? Yeah. I think that's what happened, and maybe somebody is it called the Jolly Roger, Scott? Really? Pirate Justice would have been way fucking cooler.
No, it wouldn't. I like Jolly Roger way more.
Fine, be that way. So yeah, I think they just had to decide. I honestly remember playing most of Wanderer thinking that I was female, and then finding out maybe later, maybe during the trailer for Fragments of Fate that I wasn't, or maybe, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer. Bogey Cat Productions, what's up, man? Says, I hope we can still get the discount if we're using a physical copy. I don't know.
It's a good question.
Yeah. Discounts haven't been super effective. Also, don't buy the physical copy. No offense to Perp. But every time I've ever talked to a developer about the physical version of their game, they always say that they make way more money on the digital version. So, yeah, we obviously want Perp to succeed too, though, right? So it's like it's a win-win no matter how you look at it. Perp's been amazing to the PSVR and PSVR2 community. Making sure that we're getting. It's because of them that we've gotten so many games. It's because of them we've gotten so many physical PSVR2 games, PSVR1 games. So, yeah, I guess in this particular case, buy it however you want to.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, buy it however you want to anyway, or don't buy it if you don't want to. We don't fucking care, man. Like, you guys have never listened to us ever. Otherwise, we'd be playing Separation 2 right now, or Immortal Legacy 2. By now, we'd be playing Immortal Legacy 3, AJ, and it still wouldn't make any sense, and I'd be fine with that. Just saying.
If they're developing their own proprietary engine or whatever, and they want to license it out, that's a really good idea, especially with seeing the capability, what this engine is capable of. That's a really, really cool thing. Because this is clearly capable of making like AAA quality games, which is basically what everybody wants in VR. Well, a lot of people, not everybody, dude, but a lot of people.
I chopped out so much of this footage. There was so much of me wandering around looking for shit that was right in front of my fucking face.
Dude, I did that too. I like, it took me 2 hours, but it probably should have taken me like maybe an hour and a half.
I think it's going to take most people 2 hours. I think it took me 2 hours to get to roughly the same point that you were at. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like I just really enjoyed being lost and not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't frustrated.
No, I was having so much fun. I was fine with it.
All right. Let me just check real quick here. Okay. So Sam's totally watching because she said, can't you can just hang out in the chat and answer your questions directly. No. So Sam says we can't do discounts on physical. Unfortunately, physical info dropped today. Yeah, there was a whole post about the physical version from Perp. Here, I don't have the image handy. It's the Nomad edition. It's going to come with physical. Oh, there's physical stuff in the box. I didn't know that. So there's a couple postcards. Postcards, a double-sided poster, a woodstock,
actual physical items in a physical edition. Oh my goodness.
Go fuck me. And then there's a bunch of in-game stuff like a couple watch skins, Bramble and Pina Colada for Samuel. Neon Sky drum song. So I guess like that when you finally get to Woodrock and you're playing the drums, maybe are there multiple songs you can play now? Huh.
I don't know.
Electronica music cassette. That's interesting. Yeah, there's a VCR and boom boxes and shit in this game. And so if you find cassette tapes or VHS tapes, that would be really cool to have like just some extra ones as
it's free real estate. Has a good point. It says, I appreciate the $10 discount. I'll use it for Hitman.
There you go.
Boom. You get what is it? $50. You can get Wanderer and Hitman. $50. Bam.
That's 4 AAA games, AJ, for $50.
That's it. I mean, come on. That's what are people complaining about these days?
AJ, do you remember how long it took us to complete Wanderer the first time?
So, dude, it was like I think it was originally like 12 or 13 hours. I think it was like 13 hours originally.
Hold on, I gotta watch my own review to find out.
Oh
so I wrote 12 plus hour adventure.
That sounds about right.
Now in this one has 2 or 3 new locations, more puzzles, a lot of other just a lot of extra.
This is a 15 to 20 hour game, easily,
likely.
And then you can probably replay it because, like, if they really nail like everything in the world you can interact with, you can actually have some fun with. Like, people will spend a lot of time just dicking around with the stuff there and spend a lot of time in there. I know I did the first time around. Like, I spent a lot of time, driving the RC car around like on the moon and experimenting with different things. I was having fun with the squirt gun last night. Like, I was trying to shoot stuff with the squirt gun and there's the deeper they can take that stuff, the more time. Not only is it like a wonderful story-driven campaign, but it's like the deeper they flesh this stuff out, polish this stuff up, get the physics right, whatever, the more people will just spend. The amount of times I saw people spending just countless hours doing just nothing at all in like Saints and Sinners just because you could just have fun with what's in the world and interact with it in fun, immersive ways. That's a big deal. So, and there's a lot of stuff in this game. So if they really flesh that out, boom, like, oh my goodness.
Yep. No, I'm excited to get back in and play some more. But again, it's like I kind of want to hold off because I sort of want to experience the game, the final review build. So I don't want to play too much.
I don't know if I can help myself.
I don't know if I can either. And again, obviously
because I've been really enjoying it. I've been like, I didn't want to stop playing it.
Right. The stuff that isn't perfect isn't distracting. It's just not perfect. So
yeah,
like I don't think I'll be able to hold back either. I think I'm going to want to be playing this. This is just I'm excited to see how Hitman turns out. But like Hitman isn't really my speed. Like that's not my kind of game. Like I had a lot of fun with it because I was forced to play it on PSVR1. I was forced to play it. I was like, wow, this is really good. But at no point was I like desperately wanting to play more because it's just a sandbox game is not my thing. This is my thing. This is my style of game. And the fact is that it feels like Wanderer evolved in the same way that my taste has evolved, right? It's like when I was a kid, I loved the games that were just like strict puzzle solving. Like, you couldn't die, or if you died, just load your save game. And it's all about like trial and error and figuring shit out. But there was no action in most of the games I played when I was a kid. You were playing Mega Man as a kid. I was playing, Maniac Mansion and Zack McCracken and Loom and all. I
played Monkey Island.
Sure, yeah.
I love Monkey Island's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I mean that was later in life for me. Yeah. Because I'm a million years older than you are, right? So
you're a couple of years older than me.
Yeah. So whatever. So but as I grew up, like I started really appreciating more action heavy games, and I feel like Wanderer is kind of evolving in the same way that my gaming taste evolved, and it's like adding the stuff that like I felt like I would have never been like, man, Wanderer is really missing some first person shooting. It's really missing some hand-to-hand combat. I would never have thought that, but now that it's here, I'm just so glad that it is.
Yeah, well, barring that they, let's say if they get this game to where they're trying to get it to, where it's looking like it's going, it looks like it's very, very close to. This is basically the best of both worlds, where you get the best of everything VR has to offer in terms of like immersion, interaction, next gen features like the full body IK, the eye tracking in the mirror, some really trippy stuff, deep levels of interaction. But then you also get like a big AAA quality story driven like cinematic game out of it. And so like that's the best of VR, and that's just the best of like what is currently mainstream gaming today. And if they get these last couple patches in and polish it up, if this game's completely polished, it's beats out Hitman, and it's not even close. Like there's not even a competition, and Hitman's probably not going to be any slouch. So I'm not saying that in a way that like that Hitman's not going to be anything great, because it probably is, but I'm just saying if they execute this to what they want completely by launch or around launch, this is something once in a long time that you get to experience, and something incredibly special that is just a big important piece of the landscape.
Yeah, one of the greatest VR games until Pirate Justice comes out. Chris Forthmary in the chat says the only thing that concerns me is that all the previews are Quest 3 only. This is not a Quest 3 preview, Chris. This is a PSVR2 preview. Yep. AJ and I both played this on PSVR2, and it looks beautiful.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, there's no way it looks this good on Quest 3. I'm sorry. Is this even coming out on Quest 2? There's no way.
Probably not. No.
There's no way. Yep. Good stuff.
Oh, this is amazing. This is really, really something special.
Yeah.
Again.
Go ahead.
I just said again.
Oh, again. Yeah. Well, yeah. When you're outside, or even when you open a blind or something and you look outside, it is really just so amazing. Like it really does give you the Last of Us vibes, and the amount of detail. Really good stuff. There's a lot of love that went into this, big time.
Yeah.
All right. I think we went above and beyond. I think we talked about it as long as it took us to get through it.
Yeah.
So,
pretty much.
Yeah, but that's the first 2 hours. And man, my memory is not great, but I do remember this game just getting fucking incredible the further you play it. And so jogging all those memories is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. It's cool. Do you have a game picked out for the 4-minute challenge by any chance?
I do.
Amazing. I'd be way more surprised, but I saw you spacing out here and there. I was like, you must be picking a game.
I was.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, guys, please help me out in the chat. As you know, we've only got 4 minutes, but an infinite number of yes or no questions to ask to figure out what PSVR1 or PSVR2 game AJ is thinking of. Hey, there was no slingshot in the original Wanderer, right? That was something they threw in?
I think that's new.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember that. Are those all those balloons? Are those collectibles?
Yeah, so I noticed those balloons. I think those are something they added as well, and I think you're supposed to pop those with the slingshot and probably get some kind of secret thing.
Yeah,
it's some kind of new collectible mechanic in the game.
I was just popping them because they were there, and I was like, you look out the window and there's a balloon just like floating, like 2 buildings away, and you're like, can I hit that from here? Yes, I can. Yeah, but I haven't figured out what the point of it is yet. So. All right, guys, I'm going to bring up the clock. Make sure you help me out in the chat. Suggest good games and good questions. On your mark. Get Des. Go. Is this on PSVR 1?
Yep.
Is it also on PS? Is it coming to PSVR 2?
Nope.
Okay, it's not Wanderer, you guys. Okay, is it is there melee combat?
No.
No melee combat. Okay. Do you shoot guns?
I mean, there's a little bit of it.
Some guns. Okay.
Like tiny bit, yeah. But yeah, there's shooting.
Is it sci-fi?
Some degree. I would not probably classify this as sci-fi.
Fantasy?
Yeah, I'd probably classify it more as a fantasy thing.
Okay. Multiplayer at all? Any multiplayer component? No multiplayer at all. Okay. Is it like kind of arcadey in terms of like replay, like leaderboards, that kind of stuff? Quick action.
I mean, I would say no. Okay. Even though it might have some similarities, I would say no.
Okay. Let's see what the chat is saying here. Is it a horror game?
No.
No horror. Does it you guys are not helpful sometimes. Are you ever in a vehicle?
Are you ever in a vehicle? Yes.
Yep. Okay, do you control the vehicle?
Shit. I don't think so, no.
Okay. Crap. Is it first person?
Yes.
Is it part of a series?
Like, are there multiple of these?
Yeah. Flat screen, VR, whatever.
Sort of, but not really.
Kind
no, I'd say
no, kind of not. He's AJing the fuck out of it, you guys.
Fuck. I mean, it technically is, but it's not.
Okay. We'll just move on. Old Darth says, is it funny?
No.
Okay. Is there a rhythm component to it?
No.
Okay, good. Is it like an adventure game?
No.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's maybe supposed to be in a way, but no, definitely not.
My God. No, Unearthly Mars was definitely part of a series. There's 2 games in that.
Yeah.
Is it based on a known IP outside of this game?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is it an experience?
No, it's a game.
Okay. There goes the Martian. Is it on rails?
Like a rail shooter or something? No.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Old Darth is wondering, did Brian like it?
Ooh. I don't think so. I mean, maybe sort of, but mostly no, probably.
Okay. This isn't going well.
Okay, I'll try to be faster.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm no closer to it. Was this game on other VR headsets?
No, I don't think so.
It was just PSVR1. Okay. I literally have no idea. Like okay. I've got 7 seconds.
Oof. Man,
you know what? I'm just gonna go with Loop. I'm gonna go with Looper. Is it Arc Park?
It is not Arc Park. Dang it! The streak is over again. Released November 21st of 2017.
2017.
The genre says action role-playing sport. This is, of course, the fishing game based off of the Final Fantasy 15 game, Monster of the Deep, Final Fantasy 15. Currently on sale for $8.99. I didn't know this game had DLC. You can buy a samurai garb for 49 cents. I don't think you like this game very much, Brian. I liked it, even though I don't like Final Fantasy 15 at all. I think it's terrible. I actually like this. I think this is the best thing to come out of Final Fantasy 15.
Why was it so confusing if it was part of a series? This is 100% part of this. It's called Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's why I said it was.
I know, but you really struggled with it. That's why I was like,
yeah. Well, because it's the only one of its kind on VR, and it's the only kind that it's on.
Yeah.
It's there's not a series of Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy. And it's not even a real fucking Final Fantasy game, Brian. Like,
is it part of a series? Yes, Monster of the Deep is part of Final Fantasy.
Is it though?
100%. Yes.
I said yes though, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, but it was like, yeah.
Well, deception is allowed, even though I didn't intentionally deceive you.
Yeah.
Deception is fair game.
Yeah. Also, he said there's some guns. Like I remember there being a crossbow or something at the.
Yes, I said there's shooting. I said there's shooting.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, listen. Like we talked about this game a lot. I don't think it was a deep cut. I do think that this was absolutely fair.
David says it's not in a series. Correct.
Yeah. Zach Lighting says it was over really quickly. Yeah, you get through the campaign pretty quickly in a couple hours, but then there's like an infinite amount of stuff you do. I spent 15 hours with this game before I reviewed it, because you can just grind away and just keep upgrading your equipment and all that shit. The problem is that like that stuff is just really poorly done. Yeah, Looper says this is the first time anyone's picked this.
Really?
How is that possible?
How is that possible? Everyone's angry at me, by the way. I will defend myself. Go ahead, ask me what did I say that was wrong? He's already answered. I've already answered a couple.
I'm pretty sure this is also on Steam.
I fully admit to AJing the hell out of it, but I Googled it. I didn't see it on Steam.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't see it.
This is exclusive, baby. Exclusive. Yeah, and I'm sorry for those that did like 15. I knew that was gonna piss some people off. I'm sorry. I'm like the worst Final Fantasy fan ever. Because all I like is 7, 8, 12, 14
you're like Star Wars fans. It's like Star Wars true Star Wars fans only like about 2 or 3 of the movies total.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Didn't like 13. I didn't like 15. Haven't played 16, but I did play the demo and I liked it.
Thank you, Looper. Looper said Brian's question was, do you shoot guns? And the answer to that question is no. I was very specific. I didn't say, do you shoot?
I think I said no, though, right?
You said yes. I said there is some shooting. And
but you shoot a crossbow gun that shoots magic crossbow.
Have you ever called it a crossbow gun in your life, or just now when you were trying to make it sound more like a gun?
Hold on, wait. Shit.
Yeah. It's all good. Listen. I'm giving you a hard time, but it's not like if you had answered these questions differently, I would have gotten it, because I would not have. I do
like Final Fantasy 6. I do like Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, the best Final Fantasy game there is.
It's not the best Final Fantasy though. You're
Sure.
wrong.
Okay, 12 is the best, and then 6.
You like, wow, somebody else likes 12. That's amazing.
Yeah.
The only problem that 12 has, I don't know why we're getting into a whole Final Fantasy discussion, but
I'm putting
the
my
only-
feet up. Let's do this.
12 has one big flaw,
Mhm.
and that the worst character in the game is the main character, Vaughn. Everybody, all the supporting cast, Balthier and Fran, and basically everybody else, like amazing characters, amazing storylines, everything. The main character is literally just like, he's just a Mary Sue. That's it.
Yeah, but he's kind of hot, so it's all right.
That's the only reason he gets away with it.
I
And
mean,
he's
that's
a Cloud ripoff too.
It's why it's my favorite one. All right, we got to get out of here.
Oh my
Guys,
goodness.
Guys, we're really happy that you were here with us today. And appreciate you guys. Dealing with my absence. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff in my personal life, a lot of stuff not working properly up here the way it's supposed to, and I'm still trying to figure out a lot of that stuff out. I talked to my doctor recently, and I'm just doing things that I know work for me in my personal life in order to get my head back where it needs to be and my life back on track. And it's not easy. And so I'm going to stumble here and there. And I don't know how many reviews I'm going to get out over the next few weeks or Brian bites, if any. I'm just going to try to start showing up here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as often as I possibly can. And hopefully stay on schedule with PSVR this week, and hopefully staying on a routine will be good for me. But no promises, because I feel like I'm in a place in my life right now that I've never been before. And you would think that, by the time you get to my age, you would be very familiar with how your life works and what you need to keep the gears moving. So I am in a very interesting place in my life right now, and I appreciate you guys being here for the ride and being supportive, because I definitely need it. So thank you very much, and I hope this all continues to just get better and better. And with any luck, I'll be here on Wednesday and Friday, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday again next week, and we'll just keep it rolling. If you guys want more details, I'm always around, and maybe we'll do a separate live stream, maybe like a Q&A, like AMA type thing, but not on the main channel, because I don't think most people are tuning in to hear about PSVR2. Not everybody's here to hear about my personal life and my mental issues. So let's not make it about that, at least not right now. But thank you, everybody. You all been awesome. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel financially over on patreon.com/withoutprogames, everyone who's a member over here, everyone who tips during the show, everyone who helps out, being my mods, RodPop for the time, for the uploading this podcast services, Waleed and Rody for doing timestamps. You guys are all fucking incredible. But just, we're so happy that you're here, part of the community, hanging out during the show. And that's it, man. We even know there's a ton of you that are sitting back watching the show and not saying a goddamn word. And we love you just as much. It's Monday, AJ. Do I have to do it? I don't want to do it.
Let's do it, Brian. Cue the cat, because I want to say see you guys on Wednesday to Game Cat. Behemoth says nah. Ace Gamer Cat gifted 20 without parole memberships. Whoa. 20 Ace Gamer Cat MVP. Fenner PSVR2, thanks so much, man. Michael Grant, thank you. Chris Fortenberry. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of Fortenberries. Headbite, what is up, dude? So stay strong, everyone. Not easy with all the shit going wrong with the world right now. That's right. That's a little escape from it. Magic the Game Cat, thank you so much, man. David Runs, appreciate you, home dog. Thundercat, ho, in the house tonight. Morch, Justo, Andrew Bailey, and stuff in the chat hiding out. I see you. All the gifted memberships are exposing everyone who's just sitting back and not saying a damn thing. Hello, welcome. We see you. We love you.
We know you're here.
Fortune Edge. Now we see you. Michael, thank you so much, man. Cody, appreciate it. Homie, Gecko Man 11, the Game Cat. Feel like I haven't said that in a while. What up, Gecko Man? Chris Bayer, hello. Shapeshifter, the Anomaly Game Cat. Thank you so much. Scott the PSVR Game Cat for life. What up, my homie? Letin says, have a good week, cats. Thank you so much. Neon Groove, thank you. Vargosoft, bye, folks. Have a good rest of the day. Tripman Gaming Network says, my pants exploded. again. Oh no, not again. How much do we pay to sign up? Scandrel the Scruffy Game Cat. Thank you so much for his staff and stuff. Says fire. Duggars K, thank you so much, man. Indie Soul says, I want to live in VR. Don't do it. Imzadi. Hello. Bye again. Tom. I always want to hit on Tom, like, because he's Tom. Like hit on like a drum. That doesn't sound any better. Dance. I wanna bang Tom like a drum. That's just wrong. God, mercy.
I kind of want to bang Tom too, but not like a drum.
Do. I can feel it coming in.
Yeah, that's not going to sound good. Okay.
Karina says, hurrah!
Snafu in the chat. I think Snafu must be behind the rest of us because he says, "Does it look really nice in the headset?" Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Yeah, Snafu. They've got to be using DFR and shit. It just looks really, really clear. And 90 native is awesome too. Yes, you already gave Ace Gamer Cat a shout out with the 20 without Parole memberships. Thank you for your generosity, Ace Gamer Cat. All your base are belong to us. Mad Vegan with the $2 tip says, "You're looking fit." Thank you. I go to the gym every day now. It's the only thing that seems stable in my life. He says, GoFundMe plug. And the answer is yes. I put the link to the GoFundMe in the chat just now. Thank you for the reminder.
I didn't tell you.
What's up?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, you went done.
Oh, well, we will definitely be plugging the GoFundMe pretty much constantly, I think, between now and PAX East. We're going to have to figure out a time when everyone's available to do a fundraiser stream, but we're just going to have to like start shoving this into interactive chat in every single GamesCast and just to remind everybody because, man, we're not going to come close to raising the amount that we need. So we're getting a late start on the fundraising. So we just got to hit it with every show. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Nothing. I was just going to say, I was in the middle of hiking yesterday when you texted me and said, "Hey, we've got to preview Wanderer."
Yeah.
I hiked 10 miles yesterday. 10 miles, Brian.
That
is double the most that I have like done prior to that recently. Yeah, it's crazy.
Good.
I was exhausted, but it was great. It was awesome. Hiking is great. Do that and read books. They're great too. And play video games. They're also awesome.
I got the video game thing down. Not the VR thing so much because like when you're tired or like you just, like you don't want to put it on a VR headset sometimes. But man, it's like I said, I've been playing a lot of Vita games, a lot of DS games. So yeah, well, yeah, a lot. Dude, I mean, listen, I know we've probably said this many, many times in the past, but I'll say it one more time. They could stop making games right now till the end of time.
And you'll never play everything.
I still will not get back to all the games in my backlog before I die. It would just be impossible. It would just be absolutely impossible. There's so many games that I want to play. I could just start all over at the NES era and just start knocking out RPGs that I missed. Super Nintendo. I mean, you name it, man. Just go back and play through all of these games. I think I could probably get through the PS1 era before I die. Maybe PS2. But there's no chance we're making it to PlayStation 3.
And then I've been reading The Martian by Andy Weir. The Matt Damon movie.
Matt Damon. That was a good movie.
So I was like reading the book. The book is phenomenal. And I started
just turn the cameras back on because
no,
okay,
no, it's okay. This is our little quiet fireside chat.
Okay.
I was reading the book. I've got just a little bit left of it. I'm like at the end, and it's like super epic and very exciting, and I can't wait to finish it. I might actually tonight. But I was reading the book, and then I started watching the movie because I was like, oh, this makes me want to watch the movie now. So I started watching the movie, and like within 30 minutes, I was like, this is nowhere near as good as the book. And then I threw on Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers extended edition and watched all 4 hours of it, and it was amazing. And that's how you do it. And I realized that's the only flaw that converting a book into a movie it has is that they have to condense it down. You can't make a book into you can't make a movie as good of a book within like 2 hours or something. It has to be 4 hours, and there has to be three 3 of them. And then you can do it.
Right. What you can do is you can make a worse version of the book, but still better than most other movies that are out there.
That's true. Actually,
that's
that
the
is
crazy
true.
thing, right? Because I mean, Fight Club isn't as good as the book, but it's better than most movies that are out there.
It's free real estate. I'm gonna read Artemis because it's by the same author, and there's another one too that just came out. That's newer. I forget what it's called. But I'm gonna read all of his books because they seem amazing.
Who's this? Who?
Artemis, the book.
Oh,
The
this the same
author,
person
Andy
that
Weir.
wrote the same person that wrote The Martian. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I've never read The Martian, but like I said, I'm not like a big Matt Damon fan or anything. But like I thought,
Damon.
but I did think that was a good movie. I was surprised by how good it was.
Project Hail Mary is his newest book. I'm reading The Martian. I'm gonna read Artemis, and I'm gonna read Project Hail Mary. Those are the big 3 that I'm gonna.
Nice. Cool. That's great. I'm very happy for you. Cool.
I know. I don't even play games anymore.
Good.
It's so bad.
I think I found the comment in the chat that we could need to finish on. Tom says, "I might be gay now?" 3 question marks. All right.